Hello, my friends. Barring from Clover, our guest collaborator. Hello, my friends. Today in Sudoku for July 26th. Our topic may be repetitive computer-generated slop. I don't know that anyone has anything new to learn about this, but I want to tell you that AI slop is not the issue. Even a computer slop is, through history, there's been slop. But to know where the innovation is happening, to follow and be a part of it, I want to get some of you to be a part of the innovation we're doing in Sudoku this year. And it starts by understanding the reasons it's taken me till about 12 months ago to have a professional ability to make money from writing Sudoku puzzles in the way I write them. I did not start writing my first puzzle until 2006, and most of the major newspapers decided on their Sudoku generator in 2005, and they decided when people had about 2 days to get 1,000 puzzles to them, because the Sudoku fad took off quite quickly and there was no human way to catch up. And actually, Japan doesn't care that the fad happened, because nothing has ever changed in Japan, who have had handcrafted puzzles for 40 years. And so it's still the case, the only books I buy that are classic Sudoku books are from there. And the only places I most want my best puzzles to get to are there, because that's where the audience exists, it's where the authors exist, it's where Sudoku had its maturation from an American idea to a Japanese thing. And I want to ultimately connect those dots. I want a Japanese and American sort of collaboration to make Sudoku huge. And that may take a lot of forms, but it does not start from repetitive computer-generated slop. It may end there. But that's where I want to just highlight, like, today's topic is a little curious, but it's where you have to begin. And today we're probably again going to hit the 15-minute barrier. I hope eventually to have an editor to help here. I do not have today a person I want to do that, but just like having a chief of staff or anyone else, the GM Puzzles team will probably grow by 3 to 5 people this year, but it should grow naturally with people in the community who want to help us. And I don't need to have 14 people making apps to be solvers for these tools, but having seen everything the Cracking the Cryptic related community has done, I'm excited to see how to bring those people into one umbrella to actually do stuff that's going to have longevity and sustainability that I don't yet see in what to me looks like a second fad of Sudoku that itself is going to have a fragmentation and then eventually a loss of what the magic of the pandemic brought to there. I was not doing Sudoku during the pandemic. I was making biotechnology diagnostics. By the time in 2023 I first looked at the CDC Discord, it was not welcoming to me. First, I'm not just a person who's a regular old Joe in the CDC Discord. I could search for my name and find a puzzle author who we've worked with a little bit but haven't recently, who is writing his anxiety in video chat 1 or whatever the channel is, about to send to Thomas, what's he gonna say? It's oh, it's been a month, he's not, it's I was working primarily in a biotech company, and so I was very slow, as I've always been slow, at handling new submissions by authors when we don't have a project or space for them. Having a lot of random ideas that we eventually wrapped into a blog package is how we tried to amplify a lot of good work, but it's not a way we could sustainably grow. No people eventually really paid for that work. So where we paid every author every time, unless it was only 1 or 2 puzzles and it was more work to contract with them to do it. Anyone who's given us 5 or more puzzles has been paid, or for sure should tell me you've never given me an invoice. We should have paid you. And so we're trying to clear that up. But that's a very different tactic to license a puzzle, not take a copyright, but work with those teams. I've never been able to professionally work with CTC. My engagement there would have been different if when they asked to have the Artist Sudoku 2 for one of their apps, and I said, here are 2 ways I would naturally do this. I would want a shared royalty, or this is my upfront if you need the rights. They didn't negotiate me down on the price. They didn't do any, doesn't matter. The first 2 rows in this do not matter. The last 2 rows in this do not matter. GM Puzzles right now could be GM Sudoku or GM Thomas as far as you're concerned. I want you to be most aware of this thing and actions I'm taking around this thing. SudokuCon was the first convention of logic puzzle solvers focused around Sudoku. It had a few people, let's say 5, maybe 10, that were from the classic world. It had 90 that were from the cryptic Sudoku world, as I call it. I was just at the National Puzzlers League convention, which Will Schwartz and others have sort of, through the years, made awesome again. That has cryptic crosswords, variety cryptic crosswords specifically as their goal. And crosswords are what are in newspapers, in the US at least. And so this path into the clues do 2 things, and then the clues in the grid have letters removed and they scramble. To me, a variety cryptic crossword written at the National Puzzlers League has an audience of 100 people, and they come together and they share it. And that's, to me, the same look of a puzzle written, submitted on an LMD site, Logic Masters Deutschland. To me, I just call it Logic Masters. I remember when Ulrich Voigt and Roland Voigt and other people that I know from the team were sort of building that up, and I played there long before it had Sudoku, and I've not been back to it in 5 years. It looks the same when I look at it, except the puzzles are a lot more frequent, and they're not puzzles. They're LM Sudoku. I may want to be LM puzzles again. Great, give that feedback. I just got GM Puzzle should be GM Sudoku, and I felt both hurt and motivated that I'm doing the right thing. It's just going to take time before I can get the market to exist in another space. There's mostly computer-generated slop. I introduced Tango on LinkedIn. The next day, there are 3 apps doing an unlimited form of that game. Within a month, there's now a 4th app that's putting an archive of the Tango puzzles into the world that, strictly speaking, LinkedIn could do a DMCA against because they have the rights. I don't have the rights to the Tango puzzles. But like this space of like copying and copying and copying, and I want attention and I'm special, like that happened. What is special is SudokuCon. It was a life-changing experience for Thomas Snyder right here. Where you think I'm the marquee person coming. Want to know who else was at SudokuCon? The president of Nicoli. Want to know who else was at SudokuCon? 2/3 of gas. If you think you've seen just the first connection of the Sudoku world happening, I want you to know who wasn't at SudokuCon too. And I hope to be able to see them in the future. But like today I'm going to just flash a little bit about the story of how do you think about originality in a Sudoku puzzle by showing one of the saddest but funniest examples. If you want me to laugh, I'm just going to point about a major wurfuddle and hopefully not get DMCA for making up the word wurfuddle. Let's just call it a major. It's called a major FUD. I think a major FUD is very safe here by a games company. In December 10th of 2018, the archive of this is not stored anywhere, but we have videos of people solving these puzzles, which means there is a community archive of what has been posted by the only source in the US that people, without better thinking, go and solve Sudoku. And it has the most 2005 look of a Sudoku you could possibly have, and it's honestly, I think, the same generator as made then. And I'm not trying to critique the author of the generator. Peter Rittmeister, who's one of my favorite Dutch people to just talk at a World Puzzle Federation event when we travel. And he invented Hyper Sudoku, also called Windoku. One of the most commercial yet classic-like variants that are there. Like, I haven't even constructed a lot of them, but like, oh my God, was that like in the early days, like that took off. And I think it's still important that he gets credit at least for that. If you don't say like, he has made Will Shortz's Sudoku famous around the world. More people have solved Peter Rittmeister's generators puzzles than any other Sudoku, I think, in history. Why is the New York Times repeating the exact grid aesthetically and intellectually 4 years apart? Like, this is an editorial problem. It's not a generator problem. And what I loved, even when talking to Peter, he would argue with me, and I'd agree in certain places, asymmetric puzzles let you do more than symmetric puzzles. I kind of agree. Like, most generators actually have biases when they go to symmetric forms because they're subtracting down in a weird way. I would love competitions to use asymmetric puzzles far more and less telegraphed puzzles far more. I think competitions today are made to evaluate human solvers. They're not made to evaluate any solvers. So while, you know, a place like Closed AI may have a press release, they've already run the tournament before like the organizers even think about it. Like the people who are there, the humans who are there are solving puzzles where human intuition is showing they're more intelligent. But the real hard P equal NP problems aren't telegraphed. So a lot of conversations about how do you make a hard looking Sudoku. This is a conversation about, if you look on the internet for like these New York Times repeat puzzles, the current state of the dialogue, this is r/Sudoku on Reddit, another place I don't bother to go. If you want to know, like, when I want to see what people have said about the uselessness of Snyder notation, I can find out everything I want to laugh at on r/Sudoku. And otherwise, it looks like posts of people who can't solve a puzzle today, and so everyone just brings their struggle to r/Sudoku. And then some human should be a bot, some should be a platform. There's a technology solution that should replace most of the traffic that goes to r/Sudoku right away, like that. It's like a Thanos, like wearing Infinity Stone kind of snap there. Tomorrow, if 50% of the generators, okay, and then I get the Infinity Stones again. Okay, we now have 1/4 of the generators. Like, the generators go away because, like, I'm not killing people. I'm killing Slop. Like, Slop elimination is a great goal right now. I don't want someone to write, it would be a great idea for the New York Times to just change the numbers so 1 is 2 and 2 is 3 and 3 is 4, because then it will feel new again. Like, how does that really feel new again? There are biases in how you could solve the puzzle, make it feel new again, but to me it would still look like the same thing. Like, I wouldn't even be able to tell it was repeated. Here at least I know for sure that it was repeated, but it's not visually compelling. It may or may not have been an amazing Sudoku. I'm sure that's how Simon described it. Like, that's his favorite adjective. I don't listen to adjectives or adverbs. I look for the core, but it's Slop. So many people copy, so many people repeat, so many people steal. AI is not the only thing doing derivative works here. Who is Thomas Snyder? Who is Dr. Sudoku? And what is the schizophrenic conversation I'm having in my head as I write these puzzles, or I don't write these puzzles, but I'm saying, here's a puzzle that's curious, remake this for me. Like, is that a prompt I can give a computer today if I've spent any time coding a thing? Is it a prompt you could give a computer today? If I say, I've made this puzzle, in the next day, I want to have 10 submissions by people that are going to rework this idea, but to a puzzle I may not, at least if I publish it, have the community more broadly recognize. Can I plagiarize myself when I have the rights to plagiarize myself? Others don't. I can make derivative works of my no derivs, no commercial attribution license. Like, if you're a college professor, share my grids all the time. That's what attribution means. Say they're from me. That's good. Don't suddenly like make the ones and the twos and put a devil in the middle of the grid. That's a derivative. That is not allowed under the no deriv part of the copyright. That's on every GM Puzzles puzzle. This is not today's news because we're already at 12 minutes. This will be tomorrow's news. How could even a handcrafted puzzle sort of be screwed up? How could Niccoli make this mistake? That's a curious thing. We're going to have mini Sudoku. They're going to look exactly like this for the next few days. We're not going to spend any time during this Today in Sudoku talking about them. We're going to continue the conversation on why you should make puzzles, how you should make puzzles, and what does it even mean to be original? What does it mean to be interesting? Like, people struggle to know how to like get me excited about a Sudoku. I struggle to get me excited about a Sudoku. I want an AI to help make things I've never seen, at least search the space of all the 17 givens. I looked at 50, 17 given puzzles to kind of get to this grid. We'll talk about the C- question mark puzzle tomorrow. Sorry, this is like... I would love as a single new thing from anyone in this world, including ChatGPT / the reality of sort of generators, take a single puzzle I've made, plagiarize me, send it back to me, and see if I can tell. However you want to do that. Add things, I'm going to tell. Subtract things, that would be cool. I often am somewhat minimal. If you only make it asymmetric and subtracting, there's an add and cut. Like the way you do it is add and cut. We only need 50 Sudoku in our whole lives. Like any puzzle with an X-Wing, if that's the only core step you're trying to feature, a billion other authors potentially have done it. As we try to start, please prove your intelligence to us or to yourself in any way you want to. Like, comment, subscribe, solve our puzzles, talk about what you enjoyed in the solve, construct some puzzles. There's a theme we want to talk about, which is not addition by addition, it's addition by subtraction. So please tell us about your favorite erasure. Sorry, let's make this erasure, not eraser. So it's not just a time you used a physical thing to take away stuff, a time you got rid of something and it made it better. And please send us a 1-sentence description of something interesting that's worth 5 minutes of my time. That's an old Google interview prompt that Sergey Brin used to give. Time is the most precious resource for me right now in a lot of respects. And I think there's a lot of stuff I've never heard, but I don't have a lot of time to be listening for it. The first example of this I'd want to share is probably like a 5-minute session with Philip Newman from the concept of hard Sudoku generation. He gave one of the talks at SudokuCon. I gave another talk and ran a competition there, so I was kind of deeply involved. But he was showing a puzzle and said, this is like a Sudoku explainer, hardest thing you can find. And all of the audience was commenting, but I said sort of quickly, it's like there's sparsity in these digits, but they're all in this corner, which means those digits alone are going to be making some weird geometric pattern. I just don't have like that puzzle on paper and with the right things to sort of play with. And so I didn't sort of take it farther, although it fully spoiled the solution as he went through his talk. But there are lots of things that, for me, like I know some conversations I want to have, but I most want to be surprised by conversations I don't know I need to have. So it's not you put this on CTC Discord. Someone else who's excited by a thing they read about on CTC Discord say, Thomas, do you know? And if it's just, here's a way people use color to notate that's not what I showed yesterday, all those things are good. And I'm sorry we're over time for the day, more than usual. The slides are always controlled. The speaking's just from the heart. And this is getting to more of the core of where I'm at as both a frustrated but hopeful solver, as a frustrated but hopeful constructor, as a frustrated but hopeful publisher who's now on a track to more success, but wants to have this Sudoku community improve through it because all of you have brought me back to caring again. And SudokuCon was the place it happened. It was life-changing for this one person, and I hope to see you at future SudokuCons and in other places. Take care and farewell.